Hey, Nerf Herders, I'm Addy Thomas.
I am Ben Milton.
And thanks for joining us for another episode of Certain Point of View. It's our Christmas special where we're not going to do anything special for Christmas. We're just giving you a regular episode. Maybe one day we'll do Christmas specials. I don't know, Ben. Maybe people will learn and laugh and love and cry in our Christmas specials and learn the meaning of friendship.
I'm not doing a Christmas special until we get lumpy.
Yeah, all right. I'm fine with that.
When we get our own, when we get like a mascot, like a little hairy mascot, then I will do a Christmas special.
All right, that works for me. While we're trying to figure out our Christmas special plans, don't forget you can go to our website, certainpov.com. Our website is there, and that's where we have all sorts of fun stuff like all three feeds for all three of our different podcasts and all of our social media. Again, certainpov.com. Let's get right into the news, and we're also going to get into some more discussion with The Last Jedi today. There's going to be plenty of spoilers about that. We're going to hit some TV shows, but we'll save all our Last Jedi spoiler talk for the end of the episode. So anything we talk about, even Star Wars related in terms of news, we'll keep spoiler free, but just so you know, because we know some people still haven't seen the movie, and it's only been a week really since the
there's
movie's
plenty
come
of
out.
good excuses for the more casual fan
Right.
to have not seen this movie.
Exactly. We've seen it twice, but we're super fans.
Yeah.
So, all right. The man behind the petition to erase Star Wars The Last Jedi from canon has recanted his petition, stating that the attention should go to a much worthier cause. Henry Walsh, the creator of the Change.org petition, Have Disney Strike Star Wars Episode 8 from Official Canon, wrote an update in which he states the amount of attention his petition has received doesn't sit well with him. He says, I love all of the support, but we also know that Disney isn't going to do anything. And with so many people who have much better causes who are struggling to get attention, it is a shame that this is getting this level of media attention. He said, urging his supporters to look at other more important causes on Change.org and GoFundMe, places where we can make a difference that matters.
Somebody's girlfriend got to him. That's what happened there. Somebody's totally angling for some pussy. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because this guy cares. He cared enough.
To create a petition.
To create a petition, absolutely. And then he got a lot of attention, and somebody was like, you could be saving the whales.
Yeah,
or something like that.
That makes a whole lot more sense.
A total backtrack. Yeah, that's the only reason you would backtrack on something like that. Like, you cared enough to do this, or you were trolling, like for whatever his real reason. Like he just kind of wants to brush this under the rug.
Well, yeah, because why else would he want 25,000 people to agree with him to begin with?
Right. And here's the funny thing about that: how much money has Disney made on this movie already? It's like 250 million, somewhere in that range.
About 300 million.
Around 300 million last we checked. Okay,
yeah.
So he's got, 25,000 people who agree with him that this should be struck from canon. That sounds like a lot of people, right? Let's say each of those people is worth $20 to Disney. That's still only $500,000.
Right.
Like, they could care less about these 25,000 people.
I think, though, the concern, though, is, and this is where I do think the backlash against this movie is a little bit of an issue to take into consideration, is, like, I mean, it's Star Wars. It's not going to have the Justice League issue, where it has that significant drop-off. But if word of mouth, like, even from a vocal minority, is that
even
powerful?
From trolls,
yeah. If it's that powerful, like, that is the kind of thing that could affect a drop off.
Yeah, I would expect a drop off with this movie. I think definitely you're going to get a drop off with this movie. But they went into this movie knowing it wasn't going to perform as well as The Force Awakens. Well, their expectations were lower.
There's Force Awakens expectations, but then there's also the matter of, like, how significant of a drop is it? That's the question.
I think they're prepared for it. I think Disney and Lucasfilm is smart enough to know, hey, like, they went into this movie. There's nothing about this movie that doesn't subvert expectations.
Right. I think people knew it was going to be divisive to some extent.
To some extent, absolutely. And I think Rian Johnson knows this. He wrote this story. Right. He knows it's divisive. I mean, he argued with Mark Hamill about this movie.
Yeah.
They debated this movie, and in the end, he won Hamill over.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, when you're dealing, like, I think he knew. I think everybody knew. I think everybody was on board with this, and they said, okay, this is what it is going to be. But if we're going to move Star Wars forward, we got to do this. Like, we can't just keep telling the same old story over again.
Right.
Sorry, JJ.
Yeah.
But like, if we want to move the story forward, it's so frustrating with fans right now. Like, because you have the vocal minority of people who hated The Force Awakens because it was the same old story,
Right.
and now you have a vocal minority of people who hate the Last Jedi because they went too far away from a Star Wars story. Right. Like, you know, it's such a
like I don't like. What do you want?
You can't please everybody all the time. But they're doing a pretty good job. They already got $250 million.
Exactly.
They're a quarter of the way to $1 billion.
So nearly 5 years after going off the air following 9 successful seasons, NBC is eyeing a revival of The Office, which could be ready for the 2018-2019 fall TV season. And this isn't terribly surprising since a report from August hinted that the network was eyeing both an Office revival and a 30 Rock revival. The series would return to the Dunder Mifflin Paper Company in Scranton, Pennsylvania from the original show, and while Steve Carell's character Michael Scott will not be back for the revival, there will be at least a few familiar faces. The report reveals, though, that the search for a new Dunder Mifflin branch is already underway, and the
branch manager.
Yes, sorry, branch manager, thank you. The revival series will feature both new characters and returning stars from the original 9-season run, but no specific characters or cast members have been identified in the report.
Well, who needs work? Like all of the B-tier people.
Yeah, yes and no. I mean Mindy Kaling's doing fine.
She's fine. So
BJ
is Craig
Novak
Robinson.
is
BJ
fine.
Novak's fine.
He's a writer.
But what was the little blonde chick?
Angela Kinsey, I saw she was just in a movie with who was it? I just saw a trailer with her in it.
Okay.
Like, yeah, she's not getting tons of work, but like I don't know.
Phyllis.
She's another writer that she has plenty of, like, she's still getting that Office cast doesn't really need a whole lot.
Do we really want to see this?
I don't want.
There's nothing about this. There's no incarnation of this that I want to see.
And there was only really a couple really strong seasons. There were fun moments throughout the series, even at the end, but maybe 2 or 3 really solid.
Right.
seasons.
Yeah. This show fits into my theory that every show has 2, maybe 3
great
strong
seasons,
truly great seasons, and then everything else is middling to poor.
And without Michael Scott, like, you gotta really either you've got to do something different from him, or way too similar that you're always gonna see. Oh well, Michael Scott was better. You know, I think your best bet is
it's too soon. Ultimately,
it's definitely too soon. But then the other side of it is you have so here's the thing, like Michael Schur and Greg Daniels, I believe, were some of the guys behind this. Like, those guys come up with some cool stuff. Like, let them keep on coming up with new ideas. Michael Schur is the guy behind The Good Place.
Oh, I love that show.
There's a show that's a lot more similar to the vibe of 30 Rock with Tina Fey producing, called Good News, which is a fun show. I've been watching that. Obviously, Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt is also, from a lot of those guys. Michael Schur has his hand in a lot of other TV shows.
There's so much good TV that they can it's like The Office, like that. Like that's a remake to begin with. We're remaking the remake already.
What they need to do, and this was a disappointment. So like, John Mulaney was one of the hotter names in comedy a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
and he
still is.
He's kind of building a little bit back up because he had his own show that tanked.
Okay.
So he's kind of in the process of building back up. Pete Holmes also had that kind of issue, and
for TV, but in comedy, both those guys are crushing it.
Yeah, right, exactly. But I think what they need to do is, instead of avoiding some of those guys and other comedians as well, is give some of these guys a chance. Like,
I'd be interested in seeing Pete Holmes or John Mulaney.
Yeah.
Some of those slightly lesser people who have had shots. It didn't work out as well as everybody hoped or whatever. Or it did work. Like, I think in Pete Holmes' case, I think that worked about as well as they thought it would.
Yeah. Well, but like, Mulaney is like, when he's behind Big Mouth, he works with, he collaborates with Nick Kroll. Now those guys might want the freedom that Comedy Central or Netflix gives them. I think
they might want the paycheck that NBC gives them.
Exactly. But I think that it should signal a shift in the dynamic, even in network TV, where, look, cable is producing some good stuff. You
need to keep up.
Yeah, if you're not careful, you're going to get outpaced. And
close.
I think we were at a very interesting point in the last how many years maybe? Like I would say like the past 10 years have been a very interesting transition because like Letterman and Leno now are gone and that old guard has passed on. So now like even in late night, like we have, a lot of different talent. Like the face is different. So you have Fallon, you have Colbert, you have even Kimmel sort of re-imaged himself a little bit.
Seth Meyers, and who's the singing guy? Corden. James Corden.
Yeah, James Corden. So you have these guys who've kind of refocused it a little bit. So I like
still sucks.
Yeah, but like Conan, like who was definitely like
he's now the old guard.
Yeah, he's now the old guard, and he came in too early.
Peaked too soon.
Yeah,
peaked too soon.
So now he's on TBS where he's having a ball, but it's still not network money, So it'd be interesting to see. I think like now maybe TV's ready, like network TVs might be a little bit more ready for some of that.
I don't think so.
You don't think so? You think
No.
they still want some of that? Like you think?
I think they have to play it safe because they're so beholden to advertiser money.
Yeah,
and advertiser money right now is playing so scared.
But don't you think
like
tastes shift over time?
Look at what's happening on YouTube.
Yeah,
anytime somebody says something mildly offensive on YouTube,
they remove them.
They yank them immediately because advertisers get scared.
Yeah,
and so that's all that in
still
that
applies
landscape.
To cable,
not as much.
Yeah,
not as much because there's you can. I think there's just a different reality set there. I think it's a
there's a different
expectation
on cable
yeah,
because it's paid for premium. So
yeah,
okay, yeah. All right, so Gambit has been delayed since 2015 and was originally supposed to hit theaters well over a year ago. And while many fans were hopeful that Channing Tatum's release would not see the light of day thanks to the Disney Fox deal, the fact is, it's actually business as usual at 20th Century Fox, meaning that shooting will begin in Louisiana in March, with Gore Verbinski still at the helm of the X-Men spinoff. However, it looks like rumblings about it following Deadpool and Logan as an R-rated movie aimed at an older audience may have been unfounded, as the Times-Picayune is reporting that it has a budget of $155 million. And while that number could have changed, it's possible based on what Fox originally planned for the movie. It appears as if Fox is actually kind of looking at this as a big-budget blockbuster. After all, about $155 million puts Gambit in the same realm as movies like X-Men Origins, Wolverine, and Apocalypse. And there are other movies, but I specifically mentioned some pretty bad ones. But so
way to spin the story, Addy.
Right?
Hashtag fake news.
Fake news. We'll just have to wait to see what this movie would be like. We're looking at a February 14th, 2019 release. And I'm sure we'll hear more concrete details in the coming months. But we've heard very little casting news. Obviously, Tatum in the lead, and Lizzie Kaplan as Belladonna Boudreaux. Then that's about it. So, yeah, I don't know what to think of this.
I really don't know.
Don't know.
This could be great. It could be great. It could be a great film if they give it a good script.
Well, I also wonder if they're also giving more money, even with like. We don't have a confirmation whether this is R-rated or PG-13.
Yeah, I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know how much. Yeah, that could just be for. I mean, special effects in this movie could be through the roof.
And not just that, with the success of their recent R-rated movies, they may have felt more confident to put more money into an R-rated movie as well. Just with the success of Logan and Deadpool, like. It's worth saying, you know what, we'll give you twice what we would have done, what we did for, like,
knowing that the return is there.
Exactly.
It's possible. I hope so. I mean, all I hope is that it has a good script and it's well done.
Right.
Like that.
At the
end of the day, I don't need a Michael Bay, spectacular movie. Like I don't need that kind of spectacle. I need a good script and a good story and it being well directed, well acted. All that stuff is what I'm more concerned about with this.
And I think Gambit also does, power set wise, lend himself to a little like not like crazy effects necessarily. Like you could do Gambit on TV, but I do think you lend yourself to more effects than you do with Logan or Deadpool because those guys don't have power sets that are as CGI heavy. As a Gambit.
You can hide a lot of that. Yeah.
Right. So Solo, a Star Wars story star, Paul Bettany has weighed in on the Han Solo spinoff. In addition to calling the film a gangster movie, Bettany praised Ron Howard and revealed that the director conducted reshoots much more extensive than what had been planned. His staging ability is so fucking brilliant, Bettany told Total Film. I think he went in and he was like a laser, working out what needed to be done when he looked at the footage. And then as things moved on, everybody felt so secure with him, and they gave him more. He reached out a lot more than was originally intended. The thing that stands out to me a little bit more, and actually for the first time in a long time with this movie intrigues me a whole lot more, is the fact that they call it a gangster movie. It's not quite what I was thinking with this Han Solo movie.
What were you thinking?
I really didn't have any idea, just because you went from Lord and Miller to Ron Howard. Like, it seems like the two completely different sides of the spectrum.
Yeah. It's almost as bad as Snyder and Whedon.
Yeah.
Like, and that's my big fear about this.
And that's why I was so, like, apprehensive about this movie. We haven't seen a trailer. We're less than 6 months out. I think we're about 6 months out from this movie, actually. And yeah, like in 2 days we'll be 6 months out.
I think we'll get it in the new year.
I think so too.
Around probably February we'll get it with
Black Panther.
Black Panther. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm sure I'm going to get more excited as this movie comes closer, but I think there's still, based on some of the drama behind Rogue One and the sort of the mismatch between expectations and final product with Rogue One, plus this drama, like, I'll be apprehensive, but I'll still be excited. I mean, it's Star Wars.
I'm gonna geek out so hard.
Yeah.
Here's why I'm gonna geek out so hard. The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I think it was fair for you and others to be apprehensive and criticize Kathleen Kennedy and her vision for Star Wars.
But after The Last Jedi,
you gotta kind of go, I kind of like what she's thinking.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I totally.
So
agree.
yeah. So now I feel good about backing her for making that decision of saying, hey, Lord and Miller, you guys are great.
Yeah.
Love what you do. It's not Star Wars.
Right.
It's not we're going in different directions. It's not me. It's you.
Well, Warner Brothers hasn't found a great deal of success with the DC Films universe. That's definitely an understatement. Obviously, only Wonder Woman is the true critical and commercial hit. But Kingsman, the Golden Circle director Matthew Vaughn, who we know has discussed a Man of Steel sequel with the studio, is looking to save the comic book world and confirms he's spoken to Warner Brothers about a number of DC projects. There was actually a rumor that he might even be involved a little bit with the Flashpoint movie. He actually, and Mark Millar, back in 2008, pitched a Superman trilogy to Warner Brothers that got turned down. He says, I do love the world of DC, and I've been talking to them at the moment about a few things, he revealed in a chat with IGN. It's more fun getting involved with franchises when they're on the down, because then it's easier to make a good film. So if I got involved with a few of the superhero films out there that have been disappointing, it's going to be, if I do okay, it'll probably be better. So when I did X-Men, there was, a pretty low bar. X-Men 3, no offense, was not a fantastic piece of work. It's much more fun saving and reinventing something. I'd be more intimidating trying to do a new Guardians of the Galaxy, for example. The filmmaker clearly has big ideas for the DC film universe, and he thinks he's capable of saving it. He continues to say, if I was going to do Batman, there's no point doing The Dark Knight because it's been done to perfection. If I was doing Batman, I'd go, Christ, let's bring out the Adam West version.
Uh-oh.
Vaughn added, teasing a take on Batman, which probably would be a little bit divisive. He says, I'm not interested in copying somebody else's take on the genre. I've got to figure out what I'm doing next, and I feel like flexing a muscle which I haven't used before. And he's filmed quite a few superhero movies.
Yeah.
I would like to see, definitely would like to see Vaughn's take on Superman with a Man of Steel sequel. His pitch that I've heard, like, him and Millar talk a little bit about their pitch was definitely like, you need to feel amazing and good after you watch a Superman movie.
Right.
They're big fans of what Donner did.
81.
Yeah, but it's the kind of, like, but it makes sense. Like, that's what you need to feel after Superman. Everyone needs to feel, like, empowered and fun, like they just had a blast in seeing what they did. So, obviously Superman is one of my least favorite superheroes, but I would love to see what he does. He did a great job with X-Men First Class. I've liked what he's done with some of Millar's projects that he's collaborated on with him, with Kingsman and Kick-Ass. So Yeah, I mean, I'd love to.
I mean, the action would be fantastic.
Right. So, you take that, and his character stuff in those movies are
Quippy
good
and
too.
fun,
They're
yeah.
simple and effective.
Every DC fanboy who loves the Snyderverse will bitch and complain about it and saying they're just, they're just copying Marvel's.
Right.
Everybody's trying to be like Disney and Marvel.
Yeah, because it's not Matthew Vaughn style at all,
It's not like it's everybody's style.
Right.
Like, they have that criticism with Star Wars. It's just like Guardians of the Galaxy now.
Right, yeah.
Did you never see Star Wars? It's quippy and stupid.
Guardians was influenced by Star Wars.
Exactly right. It's the other way around, you morons.
Yeah, I'd like to see like if there's very few people that I can think of that I'd want to maybe take a little bit of a creative.
I don't want to see him do Superman.
Yeah,
I'd love to see him do another superhero.
Yeah,
I would love that. I don't want to see a Superman movie.
Yeah.
We've gone over and over and over this.
Yeah.
There's not a Superman story you're going to tell that makes me go, I want to see that.
Yeah. I still hope that there's something that can be told.
Fundamentally, that character I find just fundamentally uninteresting.
Yeah.
You have to match him with something else to make that appealing for me. Now, I know I'm super in the minority on this.
Yeah.
I know lots of other people are going to be like, if it's a great Superman movie, I'm in. I want to see it. But I'm just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd like to see his take on Batman. I think it would be interesting.
Yeah, I would like to see. Well, I'm excited about Matt Reeves.
I'd like to see his take on Green Arrow.
Yeah, Green Arrow, Lantern Flash.
Corps.
Well, Flash, I'd actually like Lord and Miller to come back to that project.
Yeah,
I think that's
their wheelhouse.
Yeah. Flash works for that very well. So it'd be nice, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. So let's head over to the TV shows in the last week. Runaways new episode.
Fun episode. I liked it. I'm liking this show more and more and more. It's a slow burn.
Yeah. Well, we're getting closer to the kids running away.
Allegedly. Allegedly.
I thought it was
slowest
really
runaway ever.
Right. I thought it was really telling. Someone in one of our Facebook groups mentioned, I thought it was referring to the kids that they were kidnapping and sacrificing, basically.
Yeah, they were all runaways, And you could easily make that mistake because these kids
haven't run away yet.
Have no interest. And if I lived their life, I wouldn't either. Those kids have the best life ever.
I do like the conflict that they're going through right now, where the youngest of their group is like the parents have realized that she's found out and they gotta send her somewhere. So.
Yeah, that was good. And I like is it Victor Stein?
The inventor.
And his son. I like that conflict a lot and the time travel aspect of it.
Yeah.
It's getting interesting. They're taking their goddamn time with it, but
they really are.
I assume it's going somewhere where I'm going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because it's every episode I like it a little bit more.
Yeah. This is no Inhumans, that's for sure. So.
No, which gets going right away.
Yeah.
It's no Legion.
Yeah.
Which was just super crazy and weird.
Well, Legion was more cerebral. This,
and it was just crazy and weird.
This is still teen drama.
Yeah, this is the OC for the Marvel Universe.
All right, let's jump over to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Now, when we recorded the last episode, you had not seen the previous episodes. We actually got 2 to cover.
Yep.
So one kind of covered a little bit more of the Inhuman sort of situation at the outpost that the Kree are running right now. So what did you think of that story?
Pretty forgettable.
Yeah, I was kind of checked out until the end reveal
when
Fitz showed up.
Yeah.
And then
spoiler, Addy.
Oh no! And then the following episode, was all Fitz showing what happened.
Also, to me, pretty forgettable.
I liked this episode.
I like the callback to Robin. To the girl, like that was a nice callback to what was that, season 2? I think was.
So. Yeah.
That was nice, and it was great to see what's his name again?
Lance.
Lance, yeah. Other than that,
here's what I did like, because I do like the little thing that they were working with Fitz's character work.
Is now a badass. Yeah.
Well, sort of like also his feelings after the framework, because that had to wrap up as quickly as it did. We haven't gotten to work with like Fitz sort of unpacking because he was the villain in the framework. So him having to sort of unpack that and figure out what he's got to do and who he's got to be and sort of what aspects of himself he's got to channel for this next sort of challenge. It's like, I like the idea of it. It's a really cool sort of crucible. The framework was a sort of a crucible for him to go through to get to this next stage of whatever the hell is going on right now on the show. Like whatever he's got to do.
Another show that's not in a hurry to go anywhere anytime soon. Like this really feels like
an extinction level event that destroyed the
Gosh,
Earth.
what's coming up in the Marvel universe?
Yeah, but you know
this
what?
really feels like season 1 to me.
You think so?
Oh my God, this feels like season 1.
Yeah, but I don't think the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. are going to be the ones preventing.
No.
Do you think like they'll make like?
I think this Quake.
Do you think they'll hand off something that helps?
This
whoever?
Quake Destroyer of Worlds is a MacGuffin.
Oh yeah, I don't believe for a second that Quake was the destroyer. First off, we know the time travel thing, so we know she wasn't around.
Right.
So
it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to think. So here's my theory: is that Avengers 4 is basically going to be Back to the Future. That the end of Infinity War, like we're going to see the Earth destroyed, the world in
Thanos
ruins.
wins.
Yeah, because one of the things that they haven't showed it in this most recent trailer, the sizzle reel at Comic-Con supposedly showed some fighting with Thanos on this sort of on a planet that wasn't Earth. Because we haven't seen the Guardians in that trailer yet cross over with anybody else, and there was stuff with the Guardians working with I think there was a shot where Doctor Strange was like creating like little platforms for Star-Lord to like run across. And while he was like shooting at something. Yeah. So we haven't seen what that is. So like, I mean, who and we also saw like Thanos grabbed a moon,
right,
and was like throwing it at him. So we may have Earth straight up destroyed in Infinity War. And I imagine maybe somehow they're able to grab the time gem and use that to go back in time. There's apparently
Marty, we gotta go back.
But apparently there's also rumors of like set photos of like Thor back with long hair again in Avengers 4. So before the Ragnarok haircut. So if maybe we'll see certain scenes we've seen in past Marvel movies, and they have to figure out like something certain decisions that they made.
Can't kill Hela,
right? Or was something. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if I imagine they may go back to the original Avengers and make different decisions. Go back to the Battle of New York maybe, or something like that. I think is definitely a possibility. But like even jumping in time, like there's stuff like in the 60s. Apparently there was like auditions for something that was implying that. So I mean,
rampant fan speculation.
Yeah, exactly. But again, following up with that rampant fan speculation, tying it back to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., you think there's a possibility that there's some sort of MacGuffin, some sort of artifact that they're just going to hand off to Nick Fury, who's been hiding
maybe,
because I do expect Fury is on the poster for this movie, I believe. So
I mean, they've had him on that show before.
Yeah,
season 1 when they were going through the same sort of thing of like, we're waiting for a big event and we just got to kind of kill some time with some throwaway episodes.
Yeah, maybe it'll be the thing that helps Fury going into the
some sort of Kree device.
Yeah, because they even had a little bit of that kind of handoff with Avengers 2, where they were able to get another helicarrier, which comes in at the end to help them. So if you're watching Avengers 2 without knowing S.H.I.E.L.D.,
you're like, where the hell did that helicarrier come from?
Yeah, well, that was an easy thing to pull out of nowhere.
Yeah, well, yeah, it is all connected.
Yeah,
but not really. I don't know. I feel that way about this season.
Yeah, I
don't know if it's true. I suspect it's true, just because they are kind of taking their time with this one.
Yeah,
I mean, there is
timing wise, it'll lead up into Infinity War.
It makes sense that this season is going to lead up to that, and that we're just going to kind of have this weird Kree storyline going on, which is interesting.
It's an alternate future, really.
Yeah, and it's an interesting idea with these characters. I Although, I mean, and we did get a good piece of information that for whatever reason, like the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. are there to stop an extinction level event.
Yeah.
Now the question is that extinction level event the destruction of Earth, or is it the Kree are just going to kill all of the people on that are left?
Oh yeah. See, I was assuming it was whatever. Destroy the planet.
It could be, but there's also been talk about how, was it Krasis or whatever his name is just like, screw this, I'm just going to kill everybody here. If I can get out of here.
That might make more sense in some ways.
Like, that's more of like their level of operation.
Give them a freedom to actually do something significant.
Yeah, but really, not really.
Yeah. Hey, at least their Ghost Rider deal was pretty.
Ghost Rider was fantastic.
Yeah.
That whole season and Ada the framework was fantastic. The season has not blown me away.
Yeah. Well, we'll see next episode now that Fitz is
back.
Yeah, which is nice. I like having him back,
and I like having him being a bit of a badass now too.
Yeah, definitely.
It's good.
So, all right. So then, before we get to The Last Jedi, we're going to talk about new Netflix original movie. Pretty expensive one. Bright.
So expensive. Your fees have gone up this month.
Thanks, Will Smith.
Because I know that money didn't go to Joel Edgerton.
No. As awesome as Edgerton is,
he's great.
He's criminally underrated in a lot of ways. This was a fun movie. A little messy at times. I liked it. Yeah.
It's great hearing Will Smith swear.
Yeah.
Jenny was like, how many times is he gonna say fuck in this thing?
Right?
I was like, at least a dozen more.
Yeah, I thought it was cool. It's a very ambitious concept. It's a very weird concept. Like, it's a very uncomfortable movie to watch at first, and so you have to see the understand the conceit of okay, you have the world, and you don't have
fantasy. Earth is a fantasy world.
Yes, and there isn't really that much change in terms of even politics. Like, Mexicans and black
Everybody
people
still
aren't
hates
in a great
Mexicans.
position. Yeah, it's like everything is still sort of the same. Plus, you've got orcs, which are in addition to black people in a bad spot.
Right.
And then you've got the elves, who are the 1%ers.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was interesting.
And nobody likes fairies.
Yeah, well, I mean, that makes sense. Yeah.
Thanks, South Carolina.
Yeah. I mean, that fairy was pretty annoying.
He was. Yeah. I would have killed that fairy too.
Yeah, and the one that flies at the screen at the end.
Yeah.
So what's interesting, this movie's already been greenlit for a sequel.
It feels like it needs it.
Right?
I love this universe.
Yeah,
I love this universe. I want to know more about it.
You know what I want, though, secretly, as I was watching it? I want a back-end way to connect this to another already existing universe.
Oh, okay.
I want them to somehow connect this to Hellboy. I feel like he would... this is a world that really
that Hellboy fits in.
Yeah,
I don't need that, but similar. I like this alone. I don't need it to fit into Hellboy.
They've got a very interesting
Hellboy needs to do something like this.
Yeah,
he does. You're right. He would fit in this universe, and with the relaunch of Hellboy, I hope that they do something similar to this.
Yeah,
but I don't need him in. I do want to know more about it. I want them to build out this universe. Feels like it should be a TV show.
Yeah, well,
this would be a great 2-hour pilot. And then, all right, now that we've established kind of some rules of where this world is, let's follow some new characters on a daily, what's happening in this world, because it's really, really fun.
Yeah, it's a really fascinating world. It's a very odd pairing, because David Ayer is super gritty. I mean, this is Training Day end of watch guy doing. It's Training Day meets Lord of the Rings.
Mm-hmm.
It
really is,
and it's so weird.
How did you feel about the idea of having Will Smith as a black guy dealing with an orc in the traditional black guy role?
I 100% loved it.
I thought it was really smart.
Yeah.
I thought it was really smart of being able to deal with some race relation stuff without being... of course, he's the black guy. He hates him. But having the black guy as the dick.
Yeah.
Treating the orc, the white guy in makeup.
I think it allows you to get into really cool discussions. I've heard some people feel like, oh, no, they're appropriating, you can't, this just seems really racist to really get into this. And this is liberals. The specific people I've heard it from are liberals, but it's just that's kind of the deal with fantasy, is that we can, in allegories and stories like this,
have these conversations.
Yeah,
without people getting upset about it.
Yeah. So, and I mean, I don't know. Like, and then of course, with some conservatives, you also deal with people saying, "Oh, well, these problems don't exist. It's in your head." So it's just like, dear God, I just I don't know how to have conversations anymore. I think.
Yeah, we're at that point where you can't. If you can't yell at somebody in 140 characters, you can't have a conversation.
Right. To be honest, and we'll get into it with Last Jedi, but the discussions in the nerd world right now have been very frustrating and very exhausting, and in some ways make me feel like, what the hell am I actually doing on this show?
I at one point in time, I got so frustrated with it this past week where I was like, I just kind of want to quit the show.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought too. That is scary.
I did. I almost called you up. I was like, Addy, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah, that's
this is not fun.
Yeah, that's what I was
This is
feeling.
stupid. Like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, I love
the nerd world, but I don't love the nerds in it as much as I thought I did.
No.
And that's the shame is here's the thing. They're not all like that. They aren't all like. I've had some good conversations with people who disagree, and there's give and take. But then, and at the end of the day, I'm still friends with all of them.
Yeah, with everybody. I haven't lost any friendships over any of this stuff. Yeah.
But it feels it's frustrating that there's no give and take in the conversation, and I'm trying to examine. I'm trying to keep myself accountable of being the same way in these conversations, because it's very easy when you feel like you're right about a conversation to be just as judgmental. But I'm trying my best to kind of understand. Okay, this is what you didn't like. This is where it went wrong. This is where I'm seeing it, but then a lot of the response I'm getting is, well, that just is a sucky idea, instead of really other people also trying to grapple.
Nobody wants to come to the middle anymore. Yeah.
So I don't know.
We've become so indoctrinated in dualistic thinking.
Yeah.
And red state, blue state, Republican, Democrat.
Yeah.
Right, wrong, left, right. That it's carried over to a really weird place in everywhere in our life. But maybe it hasn't. Maybe it's always been this way.
Yeah, I think it has. I mean, here's the thing, and you know what? Well, yeah, let's keep with this. We'll come back to Bright in a second, but
because this is what Bright's dealing with.
Yeah,
Bright is really dealing with race relations.
Well, I think even Last Jedi deals with some of the ideas of balance and outgrowing and certain things like that, and maturing and dealing with failure and stuff like that. So it's tough to see that, because I've seen a lot of bad reviews for Bright, and I wonder what. I don't know what people want anymore. I really don't. I am frustrated to see I thought today, okay, maybe I need to write some stories. Maybe I need to just get off my ass finally and contribute to this rather than
critique it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because
it's easy to critique it.
Yeah, and what we do is feeding this machine that people like nitpicking. I love nitpicking. We had a very interesting conversation about nitpicking. And dude, I was avoiding that conversation. Then when I finally dropped in, I felt like it was just a hammer that I laid down. And then eventually there was a certain point that I just had to go out.
Yeah, that message is probably and I'm done.
Yeah,
and we're like, oh, all right.
This is a very clear in and out.
And I was like, I'll tag in. I'm going. I'm back. It's funny because that cycle for when you jumped in, I was like,
you were done.
2 messages above it. I was like, I'm done with this shit. I don't need this anymore in my life. I'm out. And then you went for a couple hours, and I was like, I'm ready to go back. It was so funny.
We are batting.
We are one. Yeah, I agree. I don't know, man. We're in a really weird place. I agree with you. It's really easy to critique. It's really easy to armchair quarterback and be like, this is the movie I wanted to see, or they did this. This sucks. Blah, 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 blah.
Which is why, even from the beginning of the podcast, and we haven't always done this for sure, but I know we've always talked about we want a little bit more of a positive view on be a little bit more positive, but honest.
Right.
We don't want to
be nerdist.
Yeah. Or sometimes, or hi, Kevin Smith.
Right.
Yeah.
Love you, buddy. You can't like everything.
But we still fall into the nitpicking. Another Pass is a nitpick show in its very concept.
Yeah.
But it's a very fun exercise, I think, creatively.
Yeah.
So that's why I enjoy that when we do that.
Right.
We've done it with the Star Wars prequels, and for me, it's like, okay, what if I was to take the ideas that we had for how to make the Star Wars prequels really cool, the ideas that let's say you take the ideas that you thought you wanted in The Last Jedi, for anybody who doesn't like it in this listing. It's just like, what if we take that and put it out there but make sure that there's still a message, that it's not about just blindly, I don't know, that you're actually grappling with issues. And that's what's so refreshing about Bright. That's what's so refreshing about The Last Jedi right now. That's what's been really cool about, this year has been great in media, to be perfectly honest. Yes, we had a crappy Justice League, which was fun in a lot of ways.
Had its moments.
Messy.
It really had a lot of moments, though.
So, so it wasn't all bad, but we kicked this year. One of the first superhero movies this year was Logan.
Right.
That's easily a top 10 superhero movie.
Mm-hmm.
Guardians of the Galaxy, his 2, was amazing. I thought back on it and I was like, I didn't realize that Guardians of the Galaxy 2 was this year.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman, I'm not crazy about the third act, but I love the message of that movie.
Yeah.
I thematically
and Gal
like it.
Gadot is just phenomenal. I mean, she just exudes hope, grace, like everything you want out of Wonder Woman.
Right.
Like she is that. She embodies that so well.
We got the working man's hero in Spider-Man: Homecoming this year.
Yeah.
Which
had a lot of fun moments too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had a lot of great moments as nerds.
Was Legion this year or last year?
It was this year.
The Gifted.
We had The Gifted. We had Legion. We had
we had more
Westworld.
Voltron this year. Yeah. Well, Westworld was last year, wasn't it? Was it the beginning of this year it ended?
Pretty sure.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
I mean, there has been so much amazing content. Rebels, it has been really awesome. It's just like there's
Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I mean there's been a lot.
Crashing.
You could go on. You could go on and on with all of these, and it's. I want to make sure we're having these discussions. Like what I want to make sure we talk about in this podcast is that we're talking about and we often leaned on the spirituality. That was our easy entry point to access sort of lessons. Mm-hmm. And maybe it's not just exclusive to spirituality, but maybe it's just about just digging into what makes these stories amazing and relevant to us. It's again it's embracing the idea of it being modern mythology, and so I guess it's tough for us to separate the spirituality of that.
Because it's mythology.
Yeah,
but it's hard for me to.
Yeah,
it's hard for me to see it I mean, it's hard for me not to frame it in that light.
Yeah,
I can see it from an atheistic point of view, I suppose.
A certain point of view.
From a certain point of view.
CertainPOV.com.
But I like to frame it in that way because that's kind of what it is for me. It is a religion for me in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
it is very.
Absolutely.
It sits on the same stature,
right?
as religion for me.
Yeah.
So,
right. Or unless you have other thoughts, something to.
No,
to add to that.
It's like I was thinking about that too this week. Is the idea of what if we started creating something?
Yeah.
And maybe we, when we turn the mics over, or now even, like we need to just talk about like what if we did that?
Yeah.
What if we turned this platform into a way to create and do something? Like this is like basically the discussion we're having now is how Tusk got made.
Yeah, it is.
And as dumb as that fucking movie is,
it
got made, and I loved it.
Interesting thing.
I love it. It's the best podcasting. It's the best movie about podcasting I've ever seen.
Yeah,
it's the most realistic. Because me looking like a walrus isn't that far off if I keep eating.
You know what? It's not that I want to stop what we're doing because I do like unpacking the process of unpacking these movies.
But to what point?
These stories, yeah.
Are like there's a million podcasts out there that unpack these stories.
Yeah.
Are we adding anything valuable to the conversation, or are we just noise that's just getting drowned out by similar noise?
Right.
And do we want to take the risk of actually doing something and trying to create instead of critique?
Yeah. Huh. It's something for us to discuss, and we'll definitely discuss more off mic. I think, yeah.
I guess, yeah. I like the idea of creating something.
Yeah.
We've got a lot, like we
got a lot of
spitballed ideas
yeah.
that we were like, oh, we should write that. Oh, we should write that.
Yeah.
And some of them have been made.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some of them have been made by
one
other people.
One was a show that got canceled.
One was a show
last year.
Yeah. And you were super pissed.
Yeah, I was.
that show got made. And we could redo that show in a much. They're remaking The Office. Why can't we remake that?
Yeah.
I think there's something there. I think that there's more of an opportunity now to create stories, create your own ideas and stuff like that outside of, the Hollywood machine and the traditional machine, and there's a niche for everybody.
Right.
And I think we would just have to really decide that we're going to do that and kind of find our way through that, kind of the same way that we kind of found our way into podcasting. And maybe it's just the next step in our evolution.
Yeah.
Of what
maybe
what
this is just a stepping stone to that.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
So Bright's awesome. So watch it.
Cool.
Make you think about
creating your own shit instead of just tearing stuff down.
Exactly. So
because orcs are awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was fun. I will say that it is a little tough. Like coming back to Bright, the quality of it. Those prosthetics are clearly very tough to act through.
Yeah.
And emote through. So, but it was still really, really fun.
Yeah, I say get rid of Will Smith. Take some of that money, work on those prosthetics, and create a whole universe out there.
You can find someone else who
you don't need Will Smith for that story.
Yeah.
He was great, but he served his purpose really for that story. You really don't have to continue on with that that character.
Well, he's not done because spoiler. He's
a Bright.
Yeah. So I guess people probably were going to know that anyway.
It was pretty obvious.
Yeah.
It was pretty heavy-handed.
He's like a human that can handle the wand. So there you go. So yeah,
but he could. But yeah, because he does. But that doesn't mean that he has to continue to do so.
Yeah. So here we were going to get into The Last Jedi and unpack it. I think what we're going to do is we're going to go watch The Last Jedi again right now.
Yep.
We're going to finally see it in Dolby Cinema so we can see it in that awesome color range. See all those blacks with a level of detail that we wanted to see before. So we're going to do that. And in the future, we'll do a little bit more unpacking of The Last Jedi, because I think we're also in the frame of mind where we're extra defensive about this movie. So
we've been arguing a lot in favor of it.
Yeah,
it's hard to have an open mind and an honest discussion about it right now.
I think we need
and we don't have anybody with that other point of view.
And we need to find we'll find someone to.
We need a Jason. We need a Sean. We need a Case.
There's a couple other guys that I'm waiting
Renee.
to see the movie. I'm waiting for John to see the movie to see what he thinks of the movie. But I do want to get a few of our friends, maybe some other people that we maybe on other podcasts that don't agree with us. I know I'd like to get Jeff Kirby to we've had the Kirby brothers.
He loves
us.
it though.
He loves it, but I'd still like to I want to revisit this movie with a bunch of different
views.
Maybe we'll have short, quick parts of and make a big episode with that, like really short interviews with those guys, discussions with those guys, and do that. So there's gonna be plenty more Last Jedi from us. So be sure to stick with us. Keep an eye on our website, on our Facebook, certainpov.com. You can find all of our podcasts there. There's gonna be some fun. There's already a really fun episode of Scruffy Nerfers that came out last week. That was just a blast.
Speaking of creating something like that's a fun show that we do. That we're actually kind of doing a little bit of creation and playing in a world.
And we got some cool stuff coming up with that with a moment that is in Last Jedi, and I just want to say we recorded it before The Last Jedi came out, so we didn't steal it.
3 weeks,
we were
people.
3 weeks away from it. But be sure to check out all of our podcasts, certainpov.com. Of course, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and until next time, stay scruffy, my Nerfers.